This weekend, Blumhouse and Leigh Whannels' latest film, The Wolfman, goes into theaters. I had a chance to check it out last night. Here's my review. Before I get started, please make sure to subscribe, hit the like button, hit the bell, and comment down below what is your opinions on Wolfman if you have seen it in one of the early screenings, or if you have not seen it, what is your anticipations for the movie? Going into this one, I was very excited for it just because of the concept. Like, I didn't think the trailers were that good. Leigh Whannell, I think, is a very talented director, but not a single one of his movies I have, like, 5 stars. Like, they're really good movies, but not a single one I can fully go, like, that's fantastic. So, not a specific reason why I was really excited to see this, minus the fact of the concept. I just think the concept of the Wolfman is a really, really cool concept, and that was the main reason I was excited to see this movie. And with that said, I actually got to see this at a press screening. Like, this is an official press screening, the first ever official press screening that I have ever been to. So that's awesome. Like, I saw Better Man early last week, but that was kind of pushed in theaters on a limited release at the end of December. So there's that. That was an early screening, but it wasn't like a press screening. This one, there was actually like press seats. There's actually the people that work for the Wolfman with the Wolfman shirts. It was just a really cool experience. An awesome experience, I think, and something that I plan to do a lot more in the future growing this channel. So, with that said, we're going to start my review for Wolfman. And like I said, it breaks my heart because of how great this experience was. I didn't like the movie. I personally am leaning more on the okay side and a very low okay. This was not a movie that necessarily I liked. And it should have been. Like, it seemed like the whole film was just kind of a concept that I should have loved. But for me, a lot of it just kind of felt flat. Let's start with some positives here. The family aspect, by far, was most likely my favorite aspect of the film. In The Invisible Man, which is another Universal Monsters remake by Leigh Whannell, the first half of the movie was very hard to get into because I just couldn't care about the character. Like, the character that was played by Elizabeth Moss, I can't remember her name right now, but that character, really unlikable. Then the second half of that movie, well, I'll have a Leigh Whannell ranking, so I don't want to spoil it, but it was very hard for me to get into that movie because of the character. From the very beginning of here, you like the characters, you like this family. It has a nice family dynamic. Julia Garner, Christopher Abbott, phenomenal in this film. I wasn't really expecting much from the performances just because I didn't really dig the performances in the trailer. Like I said, not a big fan of the trailer, but I thought they were great here, and it does some things with family and that kind of aspect that really worked here. The Wolfman design, I think, is great. A lot of people are complaining about this Wolfman design, and for me, I think it's great. Like, a lot of people really worried going into it because of what they unveiled at Universal Horror Nights, and then of what they showed with that one trailer they released a week ago that showed the transformation, which, terrible marketing plan right there. No offense, Universal, but terrible marketing plan, I think. So, I like the wolf design. I really did. Like, either you get the transformation stuff with all the body horror stuff, or you get the actual wolf that attacks them. I think the design is great, and the body horror stuff is great. And Leigh Whannell is a director who has the sauce. He really, really does. There are some really cool looking shots here. My favorite one is where you can't see the wolf, but you can just see the breath go out of the wolf. The hot breath from the wolf into the cold air. Really good. With this in The Invisible Man, he does some cool things with breath. And I thought that was really unique, and Leigh Whannell has the sauce as a director, has some beautifully shot sequences, and the body horror stuff, the wolf design, is great throughout the entire movie. And the third act has a little more substance to it, where the third act, not necessarily great, but at least it's kind of entertaining, where the rest of the movie I found to be incredibly flawed. So this was just a really disappointing movie for me. I was really looking forward to this one. I thought that this would be awesome, even though I didn't like the trailers. And unfortunately, it just didn't work for me. We get that first act where we're introduced to the family, and that's easily the best part. But as soon as you get to the cabin in the woods that you see in the trailer, the movie just kind of screeches to a halt. The whole transformation stuff drags. It drags on and on and on. Where, like, quite a few of the sequences, I say Leigh Whannell has a sauce. One thing I can't stand in movies is where they're just sequences where, like, You're just watching someone walk up the stairs, look around. What's that over there? We're just walking, nothing really happening. And that's a lot of what this movie is. Like, we just have wide shots of the trees that last for 30 seconds. Lasted way too long. This movie's 90 minutes long. And it feels like 2 hours because that whole middle act and kind of the third act dragged. It really dragged. Where, yeah, it's neat where you're watching the guy transform while his family is around. And you get that family dynamic. But when you're watching him transform, it's just a bunch of nothing going on. And then when you get to the third act, I just completely realized that it's the same thing over and over and over again. Where, and not to spoil because obviously the movie's not out yet, but it's the, it's where you're watching someone walk around. Oh, something weird's happening. And then, like, you're just watching the daughter and the mother just kind of run away while the wolfmen are chasing them. And it just happens over and over again. But this one, just for me, felt really repetitive as it was going on the same stuff over and over again. Where I mentioned that it's a 90-minute movie, it feels like 2.5 hours. It really does. I felt like I was just sitting in that seat forever because the movie just drags on and on and on. So while there's cool body horror stuff, while there's awesome wolf design, while I really did dig that family dynamic, the pacing of this movie and the direction, I love movies where it's in one closed area with a limited cast. That's what this movie is. We're following 3 or 4 people throughout the entire movie. I love movies like that. Those are some of my favorite movies. 10 Cloverfield Lane has 3 people the entire film. And that's one of my favorites of all time. This film right here just didn't know what to do with the execution. Kind of just decided to drag on and on and on. And it breaks my heart to say that because I was really looking forward to this movie. But no amount of sauce that the director can have can prevent the movie from being overall, and the word I have to use to describe this movie is boring. Not that a lot of it was boring, but the whole transformation stuff in the middle, while it has some cool aspects to it, the pacing makes it boring. And that is the issue I have here. So no amount of great cast, no amount of body horror stuff can prevent the fact that I just really wasn't entertained in a movie that should have really entertained me. And it's really disappointing that I have to say that about Wolfman, which had a ton of potential. Before I give you my final score, please make sure to subscribe, hit the like button, hit the bell, and comment down below what is your anticipation or opinions, if you have seen it, of The Wolfman. I want to know all that and more. The Wolfman has really cool stuff in here. I love the cast, love the family dynamic. The wolf design and body horror stuff was great. Leigh Whannels is such a talented director. But the pacing in this movie dragged, and it just overall makes it to kind of be a boring experience to something that could have been thrilling and entertaining. So for that, I'm going to have to give Wolfman a C+. Stay tuned for a Leigh Whannels ranking coming hopefully this weekend. Also, later today, I'm putting out my Daredevil Born Again trailer thoughts, because we finally got the first trailer for that. Thank you guys for clicking on this video. With that said, subscribe, join the Nerd Army. Peace out.